hard pivot from Pat talk.
Yeah.
Hello, everybody, and welcome into another exciting episode of Bloody Good Horror. My name's Eric, and I'll be your host for this evening, where we will be discussing Blink Twice. Yes, Channing Tatum is in it, but the important thing is that Christian Slater is also in it, which really should have been the selling point.
But he's not the King Slater.
Joining me tonight, first up, she's back, y'all, from the Bay Area. Please welcome Matilda to the show.
Hey.
Next up, from Indiana. They don't have bays there. Please welcome Casey.
Hello. And no, we do not have base.
Loading bays, perhaps.
Last up tonight, from Manhattan, New York City. He's back at the mothership. Please welcome John to the show.
Hello, Eric.
You know what occurred to me last week, John? I was listening back to last week's show and listening to you on your AirPods, and I thought, we could easily get you a mic for the Swiss Chalet.
It's complicated. I have a mic up there actually, but it's an old school USB. I just need to bring a friggin' converter, whatever. No, I know. All right,
Let's do it.
It's fine. John. I thought the AirPods sound good. I did a quick.
They're passable.
Sure.
We could do better. It's not like you're in a hotel. Fair. You're in a place you could plan for.
You're right. I'm saying. You're right.
Did I or did I not, John and Casey know this, have the most depressing movie theater experience ever before this film?
I thought it was great. You were having a whole time.
I was really stressed out last week. Lots of things happening. Family pet stuff I had to deal with and all this kind of junk. And I go to see this movie and I show up and I show the guy my ticket. I thought, because I had the day off. So I'm at 4 something. I was like, oh, great, I'll get this out of the way early. 4:05 or something. And the guy's scanning. He's like, it says no ticket available. I'm like, what the fuck? And I look at it. I fully had bought a ticket for a different theater at 4 o'clock, which I now couldn't make. And I'm like, it's so defeated. I'm at the Haunted Mall, first of all. So nothing is good there. And I'm like, what time does it play here? And he's like 5:15. So it was an hour, at least an hour. And I was like, God damn it. And I just wandered away. I ended up just staying in the Haunted Mall and just taking photos of things and sending them to the group chat with.
It was like a sociology
totally
thing.
Could you guys have imagined how depressing that mall was? I know.
Well,
John,
it did have the background. Did have some very 90s looking neon stuff going on the walls.
Well, so what I ended up doing was going into a bootleg Dave and Buster's that's not Dave and Buster's that's in the mall, and sitting at the bar, and drinking sparkling water and listening to two people on a date at fake Dave and Buster's at the Haunted Mall at 4:35 on a Friday afternoon.
Oh, wow.
And I sent Rachel a picture, and she just wrote back, this picture gave me seasonal affective disorder.
I mean, I just think we got to dwell for a second on the fact that you basically just took a picture of a random couple that was sitting in public.
Rachel told me to do it.
She did. I know, but
does that track, Matilda?
you were very suggestible.
Yes. Oh, yeah. Did she have a method or a strategy about how to do it? I bet
100%. I didn't do it that way. I literally just took it. But yeah, she was like, take a selfie. Turn with your back to them and take a selfie. I'm like, no, I'll just take
Definitely that would have been more awkward. What you did, I assume, was sort of I'm just looking at something on my phone here. And
yeah.
Yeah.
John, I didn't post it on social media.
I know.
Obviously, that's a clear line.
Yeah.
It was merely for our entertainment. It was a small and closed circle of people.
You didn't.
Casey.
They could have been listeners.
I did make it to the movie, and it was in the same theater that I saw Lisa Frankenstein in back in March or whenever that came out, and the sound system was fucked, and the sound system is still broken in that auditorium. So, just in case.
Look, I'm going to ask. I think I know the answer, but like, have you written feedback to them, like in like a Google?
I complained
review or
about the
something?
sound system when I saw Lisa Frankenstein, and they're like, "Yeah, it's like blah blah," and they just gave me some bullshit, like they knew about it. I'm like, listen, if they don't give a fuck. So like, am I gonna waste my breath? I did think about review bombing them on Yelp or something.
Yeah.
To make a stink, because as I said, I discovered they're unaffiliated. So there's not normally there's like, I did this once, John, my local Burger King. They weren't wearing gloves, and it was really grossing me out. And I wrote an email, and I'll tell you what, those motherfuckers had gloves on the next time I went there.
Hell yeah.
So, but I can't do that.
That's like
in
you're
this
getting a visit
situation.
from the health department. If the fucking
But
sound
their
system
name
at
is
the theater
yeah. The health
doesn't work.
department is me. I just want a non.
You're just
syphilis
free
burger.
free labor for state of New York Department of Health.
No, this was Florida, which they probably don't even have a health department.
Yeah, no, that they do
Goddamn
outsource that to
savages down there.
individuals. So
All right, let's do it. I don't know where that's going, but it happened. Let's take a quick break and review Blink Twice.
This is it, Jennifer. Your big break in TV. Got the prime time. Main feature.
John, when people that I work with won't accept new equipment, I always I get real close. I look them right in the eye, and I'm just like, let me take care of you. You deserve this microphone.
this is for you.
Yeah.
Sure.
Take the self-care, please. Well, I worked with one dude who refused to get. He had. You ever see like kind of cheap over-ear headphones when the pleather starts cracking? And they're just
that's
all
happening
cracked
to
mess
my
inside.
headphones. I think we've had this conversation.
I can't. And then so he had that going on, and he had a keyboard that was like brown with dirt. It was so disgusting. So he went on vacation. I threw all of his peripherals out and had the office manager order him more, and I hooked it all up for him before he got back. Took him like 20 minutes to notice.
Yeah. Okay. There you go.
My love language is making sure people have proper peripherals. That's what I'm saying. All right, John. Please bring us the word of the day.
Eric, today's word is gaslight. Gaslight, Gaslight. I verified that I have not used this before, but if someone wants to write in and prove me wrong, please do, because I was somewhat surprised. Gaslight, this has obviously become more generally used and I don't know, culturally aware term than it was. But here, the definition: manipulate using psychological methods into questioning their own someone's sanity or powers of reasoning. That's it. That's the only definition too. My understanding, I mean, gaslight, obviously, lights used to be powered by gas, and there was someone who had to go around and light them.
It's true. It was the first form of industrial light, John.
The common parlance of this word is often dated, in my understanding, to a 1944 film that is called Gaslight, which I've read about. I can't. I mean, I don't have it in front of me, but if I remember, it's the husband is basically gaslighting the wife. Although they're not calling it that. I think they're calling it gaslight because he does it at the time of day when the lamps are being lit or something. And so it's
So I don't know how the full etymology, Matilda, maybe you know some of this, but I feel like it was related to that there would sometimes be leaks that would make people hallucinate.
well, that's not what the movie's about,
interesting.
I don't think.
That was partially where the modern definition of the term came from.
Oh, if gaslight came from, I don't know. I had always heard that it was this movie and that he was turning the lights down lower and lower and lower, by a little bit every night.
I did that.
That's what he was, yeah.
I did
You're
that to my dad once. This was 10, 15 years ago, maybe longer, maybe 20 years ago. He was at the table reading something, and they have a dimmer, and I just peeked around the corner and I went like this, very, very slowly while he was reading. And all of a sudden, he jumped, and he looked over at me, and he was like, "You motherfucker, I thought I was dying." I literally
rough.
gaslit him, John.
There you go.
Or I
So
think in that
Gaslight.
same movie, he's like shaving her cane down tiny bits, and she's like, "I think I'm getting
Wow, okay.
taller."
That makes sense.
Like, so there's this kind of, yeah.
So yeah, I mean,
Love it.
I like, it's a thing that you hear about now. Like, I don't know how common it is as a
A
practice.
lot.
Is it?
Oh.
Oh boy.
Oh, very.
Or,
Oh my God,
wait, like
John.
you hear about it a lot, or you it is actually happening a lot.
Both.
It's a thing that's taken on a wide array of meaning, mostly tied to like emotional abuse in relationships.
Well, I mean,
Yeah.
wasn't there was like a president of the United States who was doing
Yeah,
this
he
to
let
like an
everything
entire
out of his
country
mouth. Right.
for like
Yes.
4
Exactly.
years, and then for the 4 years since. So
we were masked.
Do not trust your senses.
TM.
Yeah.
no. Yeah. Okay. Fun. Political.
John, tell me about this movie.
Yeah, Blink Twice is a film. It is the directorial debut of Zoe Kravitz, of like lots of TV and movie fame, daughter of Lenny Kravitz. Generally cool. Like, I have positive feelings about her for like, I don't know, just like the things she's been in, and when you like see her interviewed.
Has the two hottest parents on earth, pretty much.
Who's her mom?
Yeah.
Lisa
Lisa
Bonet,
Bonet.
Oh,
Yeah.
of
Oh.
Cosby fame.
Yeah.
well, hello.
That's what I'm saying.
Possibly
So-
importantly.
Impossibly,
Cosby fame.
impossibly hot genetics going with that human being.
She's got something going right. So Zoe Kravitz, both writer and director. There's another writer, E.T. Feigenbaum. I did not look into E.T. I'm assuming it's a gentleman, but it might not be. It is the story of Frida. Frida is a I don't know how old she. Let's say like late 20s, early 30s.
Yeah.
Black woman.
Sure.
She's living in California, question mark, and she works as a what are these? It's like the party down people. What are they called? They're not
Caterers.
servers.
Like catering staff.
Caterers, yes. Through this job, she is exposed to or has access to Slater King, right? His name's Slater. Slater's the first name. Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Slater King, played by Channing Tatum, who is basically Elon Muskish, but like more attractive and like broier,
yeah.
I would say. Like, he's
Yeah.
younger too. I mean, Elon Musk is whatever, like 50, late 50s. You know, Channing Tatum, he's basically like,
Less like that guy from Dune.
I'm trying to like it's hard because you don't want to like compare him to like any other like tech executive, but he's like a tech bro executive who's had a lot of success. He's like made a lot of money. But critically, we learn this because Frida is like watching videos of him and like looking at him on social media. He has like stepped back from his company because he's done something. It's not really spelled out, and it doesn't, I mean, it sort of matters, but it doesn't really matter explicitly what's happening. So he stepped back from the company. He is like taking mental health breaks. He's like working with a therapist who is Kyle MacLachlan, another great cameo /
I literally
appearance.
forgot he was in this movie. Jesus, there's so many people in this movie.
There's a lot of people in this movie. He and he also purchases an island that he then proceeds to use as a sort of like party hangout spot, but also like for mental health recovery or something. At least in the context of the video. So Frida meets him. She is also, her best friend is Aaliyah Shawkat. Shawkat. I know if I'm saying that correctly. Jess, character's name. So Frida and Jess, they both work at this the catering company. They get invited to the island. They go to the island. They just have like a debaucherous time. They're like, it's like they're doing drugs. They're like using hallucinogens, and like they're having this like great, just like no responsibilities experience of like the uber wealthy. And that though starts to turn dark as Frida notices like some things that are off. I mean, first of all, there's like this thing with one of the staff members of the island who keeps calling her Red Robin or saying Red Robin to her, and she doesn't understand what the hell's going on. There is also, she keeps finding like dirt under her nails, and she doesn't know where it comes from. Some of the other women that are on the island with them have like other sort of like weird, like one woman has like a weird bruise on her arm, and I can't remember. Like, oh, one of the guys has like a black eye. Like, there's like things that are happening, and we don't 100% know. And there's like this very trippy kind of experience happening. Then Jess, the friend, just like straight disappears. She's just gone, and that then triggers sort of that. I would say that's like the halfway point of the film, and now the rest of the film is about the sort of unwinding of everything that's been happening at this island, and sort of, I don't want to go too much further because I think we got to like talk through it and like build ourselves up to it a little bit, which is how the movie kind of handles it. But
We're here to talk through it, John.
yeah, that's it.
Tilly, what did you think?
I
How
apologize.
much
ahead of
fun did
time.
you
I
have seeing
so
this
many
movie?
thoughts? Me? I know. I'm so worried now that Eric had this experience seeing this, that it's got like, this better be worth it is so high probably after his like ramp up to this, because it added like an hour and 15 at the Haunted Mall onto the runtime for him. So I'm worried now.
true.
But I really liked this. I saw it last night by myself at 10 p.m.,
Oh,
which was a weird choice.
Adventurous.
Yeah. It feels like an incredibly strong first film for Zoe Kravitz, and it's pretty risky and layered for a first film. So I'm pretty excited to see where she goes after this. It's beautiful, and the sound and color designs are really interesting. So I'm hoping someone who pays better attention to that than me will talk about that. But for me, on the one hand, there's like the thriller aspect of this movie and the twist, like what's really going on this island. There's like the mystery aspect. But more compellingly to me, this is a really interesting movie about people's relationships with power. And also about the balance between like self-protection and dissociation in our relationships with power and how we relate to it. And those themes are so like in the bullseye of things I think about all the time at work that I'm concerned I'm going to have too much to say.
Rachel did flag that
So
for
I-
us,
and-
just so you're aware.
But I do get worried at times about when this stuff gets tackled cinematically, because it's a weird thing to put on film, right? And actually get at things. But this is one of the most effective movies I've ever seen about how sometimes dissociation means that you can like know something and not know it at the same time.
It also, but the movie gives the characters like an out because it's like a manufactured dissociation.
Right.
And I never know, and like this is like my one concern as we like talk about the like whatever, how this movie is either, I don't, whatever, there's like a metaphorical or allegorical aspect to this, but like
Yeah.
it is like does it cheapen it to make it so mechanical versus like to your point, like other people are experiencing versions of this, like but without the drugs potentially. I don't know.
Without the drugs or without the like smash cut in memory, right? Like the way that memory functions, traumatic memory functions cinematically is always tricky, I think. And I think it's tricky here, but I think that this one gets at something that like, if you grew up in a house or if you still live in a house where you have to set things about someone that you are in relation who someone else in that house aside to go to the dinner table, this gets at a lot of like how complicated that can be. And there's a lot in this movie about like pretending, putting a smile on, right? Dressing up in some
once
way
they start
that
to remember and stuff.
yeah.
yeah. And the performances in this are like super layered, I feel like, in a way that I really liked. Primarily with the two main characters, with Channing Tatum and Naomi, and in his little part is pretty layered. And And this movie feels both light and also is a really hard watch. Both. Like part of it feels like Bodies, 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 and part of it feels like Get Out or The Stepford Wives or a little Barbie. Like I was getting a little Barbie in it.
Even Get Out
And
gives
there
you a
are
lot
things
of
in
laughs that this movie doesn't
Yeah.
100% deliver by the end, you know, but
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, like I said, it has like some pretty John, to your question, like it has some pretty like blunt ideas about traumatic memory, I think, but even so, the spirit of what happens psychologically in contending with remembering or like knowing what you already know is so like thoughtful and impactful that I didn't care as much. And there is something about the very, very end that I'm still processing. So I'm curious what you all think about that. But there's like, this was one of the few movies I've seen recently where, like I said, I saw it at 10 p.m., but I was like a little worried about being with my own subconscious in sleep last night after seeing
I'm
this.
surprised you were willing to go outside after dark. You know?
Yeah, I don't go to movies at that late for sure. If I had to, there's specific theaters I straight up would not go to. I would drive out of my way to go to like the safe area
Yeah.
if I had to do that.
Yeah.
I went to the movie that the one that has the luxury loungers are $6 on Tuesday nights, so it's actually pretty crowded.
They charge
So that feels
extra?
pretty safe.
Wow.
Usually,
No,
yeah.
they're only $6. I thought you were saying
Yeah, they're
Oh, she said
only
extra.
6.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
that's chill.
Yeah, so
Sounds
like the
great.
fancy seats
Gotcha.
are the cheap
All right,
seats.
I want to come back
So yeah,
to some
there's
of
like
that
so
stuff.
much.
Because as you're
Yeah.
talking, I'm like, I saw this so many days ago. I'm like remembering the movie as you're saying things. I was like, oh my God, Gina Davis is in this movie and she's fucking
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah. Yeah.
But that is such a deeper understanding of this film than I had. So I want to come back to that. Let's keep going around for now. Casey, what did you think?
I ended up enjoying this movie. I don't think I enjoyed it quite as much as Tilly did, but I don't have the understanding of what's going on here that she does. I can see why she got into that more. I think this is a really well-made movie for Zoe Kravitz's debut. The cast was great, and I had no idea the depth of the cast, the depth of the bench coming into this movie. I was just shocked when people kept showing up. Kyle MacLachlan, Gina Davis. It's just like, damn, this cast is stacked, and it shows. I think everybody did a good job, and they were sitting here doing their thing. It was an interesting movie, and I really appreciated what they were doing with the story and with some of the stuff with the trauma and the memory loss and stuff like that. To me, though, and to a point like Tilly was making, for this being a thriller, I felt it was kind of light, and that's where it fell a little bit short to me, because there wasn't any moments where the tension really kind of got let to simmer and grow throughout this stuff. It was kind of quick paced and bam, 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 like your bodies comment. That I think that was a real apt way to put it. To me, I just took away from it thinking of this as a thriller, but it was still enjoyable. It just kept it from being like blowing my gourd. Interesting movie, and I felt really dirty after watching this, and I'm not 100% sure what to make of the ending of this. I really honestly don't know what to make of it or how
starting
I
to
should think of it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now I remember what the ending was. Yeah. We can talk about it. John, what you think?
I liked it a lot. I was really impressed with the direction and just the overall package. I think it is a very, it's a confidently made movie, right? Like there is a lot of, I don't want to say like unique to say, but there's a lot of decisions being made. There are times in the beginning of the movie, I almost felt like it was being over directed a bit. Like I felt like the sound, especially, I was like, there is so much going on with the sound in this movie. I like almost can't process it. I think by the time it's all revealed and I think a lot of it is layered. And so it there were decisions made for like specific reasons that in the moment I was sort of questioning. If I went back to rewatch it, I think there's depth there. I also think there's so much going on with the like symbol. Like there's probably a lot of like symbolism and sort of foreshadowing and again, like layering of some of the memory pieces that like you just have to like take in what you can. And it's like, there is like I mean, this is I don't maybe this is not an appropriate word. You are being like assaulted at times. I think both visually and orally, which is I mean intentional again, given like where the film ends up going. I loved all the performances. Like you know, as you I think till you said, like the main two characters are incredible, but like all of the supporting characters, I was there for. Right, like they all work. This felt in like a good way, like Zoe Kravitz picking up the phone and being like, "I'm making my first movie. It's gonna be fucking cool.
I mean,
you want to
if
be
you
in
didn't
this?"
know she directed it, the cast, you'd be like, how did all these
Yeah.
people end up in this movie? But then when you consider, I'm
Yeah.
sure they're all, she probably knows these people and was like, hey, be in my movie.
Totally. She's calling in favors, and like people should want to be in this movie because, like, look, this is like, if anything, the other, I think, reasonable thing to raise is that, like, it's not subtle in terms of like the point of view that the movie has. It's fine and it works and it is all part and parcel of the project. And like I think that was probably part of the pitch is like, hey, come be in this movie. This is like an important movie. It's something like this is a like genre movie that's got a message and like we're gonna like have fun doing it. But like there's some really fucking grim stuff that goes on, and like it was almost shocking. Like it was shocking when it happens because like you don't know exactly how bad it's gonna get. And then when they like really show it to you, you're just like, holy shit. Some
So
of the
I-
sequences are like
Yeah.
shown from in first person in a way that's like, whew,
I had,
Yeah,
are you,
which
sorry,
I think
no,
is
no, no,
intentional.
no, no.
I'm done. Like I had like one other, I have like a very specific point I want to raise narratively that I had like somewhat of a problem with, but we can get into it and it's like
Okay.
somewhat nitpicky.
I had an interesting experience with this film aside from my pre-movie experience, which is that I didn't know that Zoe Kravitz directed it until the credits came up.
Oh, really?
Like if someone said that to
Oh.
me at some point, it went fucking in one ear and out the other. So I'm just like, I'm like taking this in as pure as the driven snow. I texted these guys when I saw the trailer a couple weeks ago. I was like, this looks good. I didn't remember a fucking thing about it. So I was truly experiencing every moment as if I was new on Earth. And it is interesting hearing you guys talk, you in particular, Matilda. It's almost like, and this never happens. I'm like softening a little bit on it. I think it's really interesting. And I think the cast makes it in so many ways. I was like delighted by Gina Davis in this movie. I feel like I haven't seen her in anything in like 30 fucking years. She is so funny in this movie. Just quirky and funny and just like a really great role for her. And just like anytime Christian Slater shows up, I'm like, oh fucking hell yeah, dude. Gleaming the Cube. Like, let's do this. Like, he truly, to me, should be filling Jack Nicholson's shoes of just playing creepy, intense little weirdos. And we don't get enough of him in like modern times. So that was like really exciting. Obviously, like everybody else is really killing it too. I'm not a Channing Tatum hater. I think he's cool. He seems nice. Seems like a nice guy. So
Do
he's
those
cool
people
here.
exist? Are there people that
Lots.
hate Channing
He has
Tatum?
lots of haters. Yeah, I
Yeah.
definitely think he does.
This is why I had to leave the internet, Eric.
I think
can't-
it's
come
because he's
on.
kind of
It's-
broy.
Yeah.
And he's got a little bit of like a dumb, pretty guy vibe. I feel like, but you know what won me over? It's his cameo in This Is the End. Do you remember that when he
I mean, not
he is Danny
explicitly, but-
McBride's gimp at the end of that movie, like in the apocalypse?
On the dog leash.
It's incredible, right? Like you
Yeah.
know.
It is good.
But yeah, I agree. It's really pretty. It's funny. So again, not knowing who directed or whatever, and I'm seeing the cast and I'm like, is this like one of those Adam Sandler movies where he just sets a movie on a tropical island so they all get a paid vacation? Like, is that because it's like gorgeous, this freaking island? Like, I'm sure they were just hanging out, whatever, having fun on the set. But I think that the mystery as it unfolds is really interesting. My biggest beef with it is I just feel like the pacing, I feel like the mystery part of it goes on for too long without more breadcrumbs. It's kind of just a repeat of the same shit over and I get like there's at least one montage where that's important because it's trying, you know, the film's trying to say like we don't even know what fucking day it is. We don't know what time it is. It's this bizarre thing just keeps repeating. There's this like deja vu aspect to it. but I feel like they do that 2 more times than they need to. And I'm like dying for anything to happen by the time we start getting into the third act. And then this, like, they start getting their memory back, and there's like a very graphic, visceral flash scene where we see what's been happening to them, which includes like I don't, graphic isn't the right word, right? Because we don't see, but like, I guess a graphic shot of like a rape. We didn't even mention Simon fucking Rex is in this movie. You want to talk about random ass people?
Dude, we haven't talked about Haley Joel Osment. Isn't that his name?
Yes, he's great.
Yeah, with the
He's
eggs.
incredible.
Him and his eggs.
No, here's what's interesting is not knowing that a woman directed the film. Like, that felt so out of fucking left field for me and so out of sync with the rest of the tone of the film. Now, in hindsight, I can understand that, like, that's kind of the point, that it's like kind of brutal realization of what's really happening, right? But I was like, is this okay what I'm watching? Like, my head immediately went, is this exploitative? Did this film need this for it to be this graphic? It's interesting. I think it says a lot about modern film discourse. Like, now knowing that she directed it, it's reframed how I'm thinking about it. But it's still, I mean, it made me feel not great. And like, and I had trouble sort of, I don't know. I had trouble kind of matching it with the rest of the film, which is maybe the point, right? But it stood out to me for that reason. After that happens, the third act is pretty fucking good. I think the story overall is, like, honestly a little convoluted with the fucking plot and what we're doing and the fucking the flowers and the perfume and like then with the finale, like, it's all to me just like 100. It's like 5% too cutesy, like the little plot touches. Like, I'll say that, like, a little overwritten or something. Whereas, like, there's a core and idea there that's really strong that I think they maybe overcalculated there a little bit. But I'll tell you when this movie really wins me over, and it's like the last scene where Christian Slater basically has half of a caved-in face and is like saying shit that's really funny, like his interaction with Channing Tatum in the final scene, and this part, and this is what you're saying, Matilda, is resonating with me. Like, what we see here, and there's obviously so much gender stuff here, but it's all very tied up also in class dynamics, obviously, right? And what we see
And race,
is this just,
yeah.
yeah, exactly, yeah. But what we see is this kind of like just laid bare, sycophancy a word?
Yeah, sure.
Like, we know that these people are not real friends. You know that because you have a certain, like, maybe me, like, I just assume no rich person has authentic relationships because, like, when you're that rich, also you're a tech bro, so you're fucking half robot in your brain anyway. But right, it's all based on access and money and favors, and these people are very clearly below his station and, like, they're hangers on, right? And he has them around because it makes him feel not alone. Which, when you're that different from everybody else, is probably pretty difficult. So I imagine that's why these people just surround themselves with some kind of fucking posse that they're, like, basically paying, right? But in the finale, when shit goes down, what the film does a great job of is showing you how quickly he casts them aside. And this scene with Christian Slater is a great example. He doesn't give a fuck about him. Christian Slater's like, oh, hospital. Like, he's just shouting, like, for help. And they're just, he doesn't give a fuck. He could give two shits, right? And it's so callous and really wild. So there is a lot of meat there. And then lots of really fascinating tidbits, like when stuff is revealed. Like, I did love, one thing that's pulled off, I think, pretty masterfully is that the film hides from you the fact that the women don't know each other. And it does this by very subtle little dialogue tricks, like Simon Rex calling his, like, girl, like, babe. So you just assume that they're in a relationship.
Yeah.
Then our main character starts to unwind. She goes, no, like, he just fucking met me in a coffee shop and asked me to come here. But then there's this other layer of, like, oh, he's just being a creepy, too familiar weirdo with her, which actually perfectly tracks with his character and what these guys are doing. That part I thought was brilliant because like that's a really great part of the reveal when the women get together and start untying who knows what and that they don't actually know each other. That's a great moment when the two of them are together and they realize how fucked up they don't know what's going on yet, but they realize they're in really big trouble. I thought that was like almost the best reveal.
But hold on, like, so this is the other thing where this movie, and I think it's like one of the narrative leaps that's tough, but I think it works. Is like the other reason he's calling her babe is like in his mind she's sort of like not his girlfriend. Like
No,
this is
I
not the
agree.
first
That's
time that they've been there
100%.
together. Like
Well,
she's been there multiple times.
Do we know
and
for sure though that everyone has been there multiple times?
we don't
I wasn't
100%
sure about
know,
that, yeah.
but like
No, but you're
That's-
right.
I
That's
think it's
exactly.
fair to
but
assume
that.
we're saying the same thing. He's actually saying that because he's fucking weird and creepy.
yeah.
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 Well, he's
But,
possessive
but
of her
again, what I'm
in a
saying is
way.
like, but they twist that early on to make you think that they're together
Sure.
because we know that our main characters have gone to this island with people they don't know, right?
Yeah.
But there's a certain safety that they feel in thinking that everybody else does know each other, and so there's at least some kind of social strata they're walking into. What unmoors them is discovering, oh, we don't fucking know any of these people. Like we're fucking insane and in big trouble right now.
Yeah. And I loved that all of the guys are over familiar, but not creepy in the ways that that are the early other kinds of classic red flags that you would necessarily think about.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're creepy in ways that I think you would expect people with a lot of money to be because no one ever tells them
Yeah.
no or that things are not okay to do.
Right.
People tend to either be intimidated by them or let them get away with shit.
Well, there's a very much a Saltburn aspect to that island and what's going
Totally.
on there too.
Yeah. And to your point, Matilda, I love the repeated I love how the cycle repeats, but what we see is the way the intimacy changes between everybody. The lighter is a great through line for that. And there is a Saltburn kind of like parallel there because that's a great part of Saltburn too, where every night, no matter how tense and fucked up everything is getting, they're sitting, or every morning, every night, whatever, they're sitting at the table together.
Yeah.
Right.
And it just gets more and more awkward. This is different. What's fun about Saltburn is nobody's pretending.
Yeah.
So they're all just being pieces of shit to each other or completely out of their minds. Here, it's like that thin veneer of trying to keep it all copacetic, right?
Well, to me, the scariest part is
Yeah.
like how brazen the men are in retrospect, because like we know what they've been doing and like how they're like and this again, I think it's where there is like a leap you have to be willing to make, which is that like, because look, like this whole concept that they can make them sort of like perfectly forget, and yada yada yada, but then like they're able
Yeah.
to like function during the day and like they can like
Yeah.
live their lives, and also it like makes them
Yeah.
forget things like from a long, like it's a little like how the hell the forgetting works is like very not clear to me, but it's sort of, as long as you're willing to kind of just like say like,
That's a
yeah,
little, like,
this thing's
MacGuffin-y,
fucking
yeah.
crazy.
Be a
But where I
little
was going is, like,
metaphorical about it. Yeah.
Exactly. That's like, as I was saying, I think it is. You just have to read it that way. But no, I think it is like that. It's like so dark in retrospect, and it's where like the performance that Channing Tatum gives once it's all sort of like laid bare is just is wild.
I think this movie
Yeah.
might be kind of awesome on a second viewing.
Oh, yeah.
And picking
Oh,
up on
definitely.
more
Yeah.
of those subtle cues.
Yeah, I think there's going to be a
Yeah.
ton of stuff happening in the background, especially with this cast that has missed in that first watch.
Little facial expressions, little things said to each other. By the way, how awful / not awful, but like character wise and creepy is Kyle MacLachlan in this movie?
Oh, yeah.
You usually
So
think of him as
creepy.
these characters that are so likable, although even like recently in Fallout, I guess that's not really who he is. But my God, he's so gross in this film.
Yeah. Now, this was Kyle MacLachlan's island, correct? That they were renting out for the...
No,
or
no,
was
no,
it
no,
Channing
no.
Tatum's?
Kyle
Channing
MacLachlan
Tatum's,
is
yeah.
just
It's
his like
Channing Tatum's.
doctor on hire who is
Okay.
also in on
Therapist who goes
everything.
on vacation with him.
But he's
Yeah.
the one that... Kyle MacLachlan's
Therapist,
the
right.
one that came up with the idea of the flowers and antidote and everything, or we don't really know.
I didn't catch that.
It
I
seems
just
like
assumed
he's like psychologically interested because there's a scene where he and Channing Tatum are standing over
Yeah.
the main character and
assumed it was
saying
all
like,
Channing
so she's really
Tatum.
not going to make anything.
I
Yeah.
assumed
No,
it was all him because he's like a tech bro. So that makes sense
Yeah,
to me. It's
and-
like he
and
invented a thing.
He's biohacking these women. Yeah.
Yeah.
Kyle
Yeah.
MacLachlan only got invited because he's Channing Tatum's therapist. Like he was, that was my read on it. And then that's where like the very last scene of the film is meant to, whatever, make you think through that whole relationship at a certain level, and because he's the one who comes back into the picture at the like next ball and is like, so you know,
Yeah.
like,
He's still alive, right?
well, because
So-
he gets away, like he leaves the island. We
He
see
gets
him
his
leave
bag
the
and
island.
leaves.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think I think I missed that and all the like bedlam
Yeah.
that's happening in the third act. But he does know her and recognizes her.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
yes, totally, and but he thinks she doesn't remember, and then she's sort of like signaling.
Oh, because
like,
he bounces before.
correct before all the real
So
crazy.
he
shit
leaves
happens.
early.
Yep.
Maybe that's,
But he knows what they're doing
Yep.
to
He
him.
gets
Yeah.
his bag.
No, I know that, but I'm
Yeah.
saying he leaves before they go berserk and kill everyone.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah. And can I ask,
Dude,
did
when the-
you all
when the
get
women,
my
like,
first?
When the women
go
go
ahead.
on the massacre, that moment is amazing. When they're
Good.
just running around and stabbing and murdering and stuff. It's
Yeah.
great. Sorry, Matilda. What were you saying?
Did your first frame of this movie, was it a content warning?
yeah,
Yes.
The
Yeah.
trigger
The
warning.
first
Trigger
thing,
warning.
yeah, okay, so you knew that it was that you were gonna see something.
There was
around.
Yes.
sexual
Wasn't it
violence.
about domestic
Sexual assault.
violence?
It
And
said
sexual
this is
violence.
about abuse of power, including sexual violence.
Oh,
Yeah.
because I swear it didn't say anything about sexual violence. Because I was like, maybe that should have been the trigger. Maybe maybe I
Well,
just
no.
mixed it
So,
up.
and I think Casey, you might have sent an article about this or something, but that
Yeah.
got added after the, blow up is probably
Like
strong.
festival?
But like, no.
No, Blake
the
Lively.
yeah, the Blake Lively movie that just came out that like basically got marketed as like a romantic whatever, like romance movie, and it was
Yikes.
like, no, this is an abusey movie. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's why they put that disclaimer at the front of this
Yeah.
movie.
correct. That
Yeah.
was my understanding as well.
and I think that scene in particular was so rough because do you all remember like 1988 when The Accused came out? That was
Oh,
the
yeah.
first movie that was shot from the point of view of someone being sexually assaulted, like
Yeah.
yeah,
of the person being sexually assaulted. And this had some of that
Mm-hmm.
in it and was shot actually in similar ways to the movie Violation. In a way that I think is like super powerful where you're not seeing, like John, you're saying it's not graphic, but it's it's very emotionally graphic.
oh yeah, yes.
Right.
I mean, there's no way Zoe Kravitz was not thinking about The Accused when she was putting this movie together.
Yeah.
At least like
And
the
I-
way that scene hits.
Yeah. And I think the casting in this is so smart, especially the Gina Davis of it. Because she's she's our feminist icon, right? She's like Thelma and Louise, and she is so disappointing.
Yeah, remind me where she
In
ends
this
up
movie?
like they feed her the snake venom, whatever, the reversal juice, without her knowing. And then when she does remember, doesn't she say something like, I didn't want to remember?
Yeah.
Yeah, her big line in this is forgetting is a gift.
Yeah.
Right. So she did know at some point and was like, whatever, I don't. Yeah.
Yeah, she'd
not-
rather
Yeah.
not know.
Or like, why didn't she says something like, why didn't you help me? And
Yeah.
she says, I tried. Right, the
Yeah.
main
Oh,
character is she kills her. It's like,
interesting,
I tried. Yeah.
Pretty rough. Pretty that one.
Yeah.
That one. Yeah.
Yeah. And so interesting, like also I think I think Gina Davis is very much the like, how do you say her name? Ghislaine Maxwell, who's the Jeffrey Epstein?
Oh yeah, Ghislaine.
Yeah.
Ghislaine Maxwell. But it really makes me like there's some interiority to being in the entertainment industry in this, for sure. That made me concerned about what Zoe Kravitz either knows or has seen, or you know what I mean.
So there was a moment where I was like, holy shit, like what has Zoe Kravitz been through? As
Yeah.
you know, or to your point, like what does she know and like will need to tell us that
Yeah.
Interesting.
Well, she said
she's
she
impressive.
has said in interviews like it's not her story necessarily, but it's all
Well-
stuff she knows, basically. Yeah.
Yeah, that's real fucking grim. That's like back to like, oh god. So, I mean, the world is grim, so I don't know why I'm surprised.
Sorry, there were so
Good
many,
times.
so many things happened, man. I had so many things I want to talk about, and now I'm blanking.
Can I give you my like one thing? Like to me, because Eric, I think
Yeah.
you actually raised this issue about like how structurally the mystery, like the time that the mystery is given versus like the unwinding, or however you want to frame it. To me, the thing that I struggle with the most was how quickly she figures out that the venom is the thing. Like,
Yeah.
Yes, yeah,
it's
yeah.
she
It's a little
like
bit of a leap.
now. I mean, it was like Jess gets bit. She gets offered the juice from if the woman has a name, I'm sorry, I don't remember it. I don't know that she even got one in the movie,
I don't
but
think
it's like
we
the one,
do.
it's like the cleaning woman. She like it's like the next day she's like, oh, we just all need to drink this juice and like we're all gonna remember now. And that it to me, like I could have used that happening 10 minutes earlier, get like just I don't know, because I think that also is like I did like the scene where they're feeding it to the other girls, but they're not telling them why they're feeding it to them. And so at one point,
And that's a fun tension too, waiting for them to remember. Not
well,
fun,
exactly,
but
and
it's
that's we
effective.
didn't.
Yeah.
I don't think we even talked about Sarah, who I loved. She's the actress is oh shit, I just had it up. Adria Arjona. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, she was in Hitman, the Netflix movie. I think she's great in this. I love the character where
I was
she's
just
like
talking about how much I love that movie, John.
no, well, I love this character here where she's like, you know, she's been on Survivor Island or whatever that like some female
Survivor
show.
babes.
Yeah,
Hot
Survivor babes.
Hot Survivor babes.
But she gets a line in this where she's like, those two, you know, they've just given them the juice, and she's like, those two are like fucking time bombs waiting to go off or something like
Yeah.
that. And then they do, and it's such a sweet payoff. Like it just, Zoe Kravitz very much understands like where this movie has to go for the audience to get what they need out of it as a genre movie. That's what I appreciated.
Like some
You need
revenge
the
violence.
violent fucking killing of these dudes. Like there needs to be like very
Yeah.
aggressive punishment that is meted out in like a graphic way.
Yeah.
You know, so I love the like nose bleeding and you know it all worked.
One of my
When it
favorite
kicks
scenes was when Frida got what they were at the dinner and she spilt the wine on her dress. And then the next morning when she happened to look down and notice, hey, my dress is white again. That was the moment for me that I kind of got that chill. It's like, uh-oh, this is going to be bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Made me think. I want the like nice, non-assaulty version of this for myself.
so
like
it looked
I'll
like
be
a chill
sycophant
island to
as
hang
long
out
as
on.
you're nice. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll tell you you're fucking right all the time. Just put me up in the fucking island chateau.
Yeah.
You were supposed to have all this by now, John, and take me with you.
I know. I'm sorry. We're working.
And that was supposed to be our next business meeting, man. Come on.
That's my retirement plan, buddy. So get on it.
We're working on it. All right.
Appreciate it. Anything else before we move on here?
I'm still loving the hell out of Haley
think
Joel
so.
Osment's career renaissance
he's
here.
Great. He's great
Yeah.
in this film. Yeah.
Yeah.
I just
got
love
a
the
lot of-
choices.
It's hard to see him in this.
Oh, definitely. But I think he's been making great choices in this stage of his career. It's just fun to watch.
I think he got a lot of good press out of this. Like I just saw him on. There was like a bunch of articles about he's still around.
Oh, okay.
Well, it's also I believe it's the 20th anniversary of Sixth Sense. Right. It's either this year or next year. It's the 20th anniversary of Sixth Sense. Sixth Sense. So
I
What do you
froze. I
think,
missed
Eric?
All of that. All right. let's wrap it up. Would you recommend this, Matilda?
Yes.
John?
Yes.
Casey?
Yes.
I would also say yes. You can wait for video, though, I think.
Yeah.
But if you're looking for something now, hit it up. All right, let's take a quick break and do some fan mail.
Send feedback to info@bloodygoodhorror.com or on Twitter using hashtag AskBGH. Join Patreon to get back episodes and much more. Patreon.com/bloodygoodhorror.
And we're back. Sorry, hold on a second. Anyway, looking at some YouTube comments, we got on the Channing Tatum topic. Liz says, "I'm fairly sure 21 Jump Street is where I get my decent opinion of him." Yeah, actually,
Yeah.
I forgot about those movies, but they're really fun.
They are fun.
They are. I also remember he went into like super hard training for Magic Mike. And when he was interviewed about it, you know, like when you do a movie like that, everybody wants to talk about your body. And he was like, yes, not worth it. My life is joyless and terrible. Like, don't do it. Like, which I
The movies are
appreciate.
great though. I've never seen the last one. The reviews weren't great. Did you watch it?
No.
Yeah. I'm gonna get to it eventually. It has Selma Hayek in it. Like, come on, what you know?
Yeah. I have a McConaughey allergy. So I was taken by a friend who wanted to watch me watch it.
Allergy, interesting.
Yeah.
After True Detective, I pretty much was like, I would watch anything.
I'm McConaughey-philic.
so
I think is what they call it.
I'm a conphile.
Yeah, McConophile. There you go.
Love it. Mike
All
says,
right, all
plot
right.
twist, the island is shared with Jurassic Park.
Part 2. Blink 3 times.
We got a couple emails from Caitlin. Oh, this is funny.
In Kissimmee or
I can hit
in-
summarize this email, and Gemini will summarize it for me. I'm going to do it and see what it says.
Thanks, Gemini. She's great.
This is great. According to Gemini, Caitlin's email, Caitlin Daniels went to a drive-in movie and saw Alien Romulus. Done. This is incredible. I'm going to use this on every email. You know what? That's it. I think I got the whole point. Let's see. Oh, I'm going to hit it on this one too.
But it's great to hear from you, Caitlin. Thank you. Is what Eric meant to say.
Oh, no, it went away. Wait. Oh, here we go. How do I do this?
It probably needs to have like a certain amount of like text.
No, I got it. Her second Alien Romulus email. Summary. Caitlin Daniels is expressing frustration that people are upset a movie didn't address social issues. I can't read. I'm not going to read it. It's too long.
It's fair.
I'm gonna summarize this last one too. I like this. How do I do it? Where's the button? I don't know about this Gemini thing, John. Let's
Quality radio.
Google is not paying us enough for you
Summarize this
to
email.
use Gemini in this podcast.
Yeah. It's like Grandpa learns the internet.
Caitlin expressed frustration with the current times, describing them as ironic and idiotic. She finds solace in listening to older episodes of a podcast, presumably to avoid contemporary content. This is my new favorite segment. Everybody please send emails in. That's it for emails.
You have to make the emails very long though, so they can be summarized.
You go ahead.
All right, we've got two.
Yeah, just send me
friends
the
out there.
longest fucking emails and we'll have Gemini cleaned up for you. That was so much fun.
All right, we got 2 threads out there. First up tonight, at Jimmy Lilly asks, "What's the best vacation getaway you have been? Any experience to a tropical island?"
I went to Bermuda once. It was fine.
I've never left the country.
We did.
No Canada?
Nope. I don't have a passport.
It's
Wow.
exciting. You don't need a passport to go to Canada, or at least you didn't when I was 18.
You do now.
No, you do.
You do now.
You should. If you like end up in Canada without a passport, like, you know,
We crossed the Canadian border very high, and they just went, "Go ahead."
they were like, please go back to the United States.
It's actually within the last 5 years or so they started requiring it again.
Suzanne and I used to go to Barbados, which I loved. And we would go to like a pretty rustic B&B. A British couple ran it. You know, Barbados, I think, is still a British protectorate. Like, whatever. I don't need to
That's
get
the
into
deal
the
with
politics
Bermuda.
of it, but
Yeah, like you can only live there. There's like well, I learned something when I visited Bermuda, John, that some of these islands like didn't have native populations originally. That the native populations are descendants of slaves that were brought over there by the British like 400 or 500 years ago. So their customs are like a mixture of customs from different African places that have sort of blended together over a few hundred years. So those people are the only citizens there, and then you can get some kind of special permit to live there if you're British, and that's it pretty much. But everything is shipped to the island. They don't grow pretty much anything.
yeah.
So like their drinkable water comes in by tanker. Like this was like 10, 12 years, well now 14 years ago. And I remember going in a grocery store because I'm like, I got to see this. I'm just fascinated. A jar of mayo was $8 in like 2010. Like how much do you think that is now, John?
I don't know. $50. No.
1 million.
yeah. Yeah. So, yeah.
Yeah, when
There's
you
not
bring
many
the food in, it's
tropical,
so expensive. Kauai is like that too.
Yeah. Hawaii is bad.
John, one more Caitlin email. I'll give you the Gemini summary.
Is this in real time? Did she just send this?
No. I found more. Caitlin Daniels believes the word tulpa is perfect for the movie The Empty Man. She considers the movie a sleeper hit that people overlooked. Caitlin has added tulpa to her list of future dog names. My favorite part about that is a 3-sentence summary of a 2-sentence email. But I still like it. It just,
Yeah.
That's awesome.
clean.
Yeah, there's not many tropical futures in my or trips in my future. You guys have met Colleen. She's very Irish descent and very fair skinned. She lasts like 2 seconds in tropical sun.
My problem with a tropical island is you have to travel to get there, and I fucking hate traveling. So not much of a chance that's ever going to happen again. Unless I meet some kind of rich tech bro benefactor, in which case I'll private jet.
Game on.
Yeah, I'll hop in the PJ.
All right. We also got one more vacation-based question from Matt Lloyd Poet. Best vacation-based horror movies. I'll go first. The Descent. Got to support my British creators.
Yeah, that's technically a vacation. That works for me. What you know what this movie made me think of very strangely is The Getaway
Ooh.
with Mila Jovovich, right? And
Yeah.
Steve Zahn and 2 other people that I can't
That's
remember.
very
Oh, yeah.
thrillery. That was a
Very
that's a thriller
thrillery.
twist
It's another
horror
one
for
with
sure.
a big twist that really like changes everything about the film.
Yeah.
It's a fun little weird one that not everybody has seen that I recommend.
Yeah, no, it's a good one.
All I can say is Tucker and Dale is technically a vacation movie.
Oh, that's true.
There you go. Old. You guys remember Old? I don't
Oh, yeah.
necessarily recommend it,
Is that-
but
does
as a
that count?
vacation movie.
What was Mid-Sized Sedan? Was the rapper's name in that movie? Do you remember that?
Yes.
I've blocked that out.
I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Oh God. I liked Infinity Pool quite a lot for like the grimness
Oh.
of the rich vacation place.
Infinity Pool, excellent. vacation
Yeah.
for sure.
Matilda, I think your mic may have disconnected. You sound like you're on a different mic now.
Oh, uh-oh.
Casey, do you want to carry on with
That's it for
threads?
threads, actually.
Oh, I didn't even
So
know you
how
were on
about-
threads. I was just working on my email. All right, let me pull.
How about would you like to try some Instagram questions, maybe?
Let me pull up the gram here. John, I don't know if you remember last week, but we had a question about whether or not British people were as problematically polite as they are in that film. Because I think so their point was like, if somebody had sent me that creepy statue, I would have been like, no fucking way. I'm accepting this. We got a response.
Perfect.
Did a British person answer this? I assume we were all asleep. I haven't seen the movie yet, but yes, most British people are that polite. This is from Natasha. So there you go. I kind of knew that because that's like half of John Oliver's shtick on his show. All right. Is this 20? This is from Grimbo. I don't have no idea how to say this. Grimbo Dickey. Grimbo Dickey. Is this 2024 Saltburn only better? Question mark.
Tiny bit.
It's certainly more concise and pointed, I would say.
Yeah, I think Saltburn is. I would take Saltburn over this, but Saltburn is like
Oh.
real wacky in a way that I enjoyed.
I was saying Blink Twice was more concise and pointed than
No,
Saltburn.
no, I just liked Saltburn better.
Yeah. I
we
mean,
just like
I
the
Saltburn.
wackiness.
Sure.
He has sex with the graveyard dirt, John. It's like my favorite scene. In
I mean, it's less grim somehow than this movie. So
Little Boy Burr, where in the Magic Mike cinematic universe does this fall? That's a good question.
it's unfortunately on the like dark aftermath, I would say, right?
Michael, what's your favorite movie with an actor from Twin Peaks?
Ooh.
I'd have to. This is too complicated. I need to like Google around a bit.
I just said the most recent thing that came to mind, and it wasn't even a movie, but it's Fallout.
Yeah, Fallout's great.
Every once in a while, I remember Fallout existed, and I get so pumped that they're going to make more of that.
You know where Kyle
brilliant.
MacLachlan is great? Portlandia.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So good.
I can't remember that I've seen him much on that, but I do.
Oh, he plays the mayor.
Yeah, he's the mayor.
Yes, of course, of course. It's been years since I watched that.
Yeah, no,
I
I
feel like
mean-
the shtick just got a little old for me at some point.
I think about it though sometimes. Like I'm the same way. Like, but then I like think about some of the episodes, and I just it cracks me
It
up.
is. I mean, it was a brilliant send up of a very specific thing.
Really accurate. Yeah.
That's what everybody tells me is it's super accurate.
2 more questions. What actor nailed the transition to directing from acting to directing horror? My answer was Oz Perkins.
Yeah.
I mean, less acting than Zoe Kravitz, I would say, right?
Yeah, but still counts. I always found it interesting that this is not the same thing, but I always found it fascinating that I think it's Cronenberg, right, plays the killer in Nightbreed
Yeah.
under that creepy zip up mask. I always found that fascinating.
I mean, but he was already he was pretty established.
It's
at
not.
that
It
point.
doesn't count, but it just made me think of it. Once it's in my brain, I got to get it out, John. You
Oh,
understand?
I know. Great.
Last question. Prepare yourself for an existential meltdown. What is an acceptable amount of blinking? I don't know how to answer that, but I know that there's an amount of blinking that when someone else is doing it, you start to notice and it becomes concerning.
I had
Or
never
an
thought
amount
about
of
this.
No blinking. Yeah.
Or no blinking, right? Exactly.
that would
You
be
got
worse.
it. It's got to be in the. There's a medium range. It's got to be in, or it's problematic.
Yeah. If you've seen the jinx about Robert Durst, probably Robert Durst doing interviews on meth, that's probably too much blinking.
I know that every time I've looked at this question today, I've become acutely aware of how much I'm blinking, and then I start blinking too much. finally tonight, Sebastian, Cabin in the Woods is the best vacation horror movie.
Oh,
That is pretty
I
good.
think he's onto something there.
yeah.
Good answer.
I mean, the Evil Dead movies, I guess, are all vacation movies, right? Or
Yeah.
at least the original ones. not
Technically,
the new
yeah.
one wasn't vacation so much as weren't they like drying her
No,
out
they were
at the
trying to
cabin?
detox their friend.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Not the same, John.
No, it's
Slightly different. All right. Do we know what we are doing next week?
a little film called Beetlejuice.
Ooh, Zach has another good one. The Ruins.
Yeah, The Ruins is
Oh, The Ruins is good.
Yeah,
That's a
Ruins
great
is
like
good.
vacation gone wrong movie. Although no part of that vacation looks like something I want to go on even before the killer plants come in. Beetlejuice, okay. All right. John, I am attending a concert by myself on Friday night that I'm pretty excited about.
Limp Bizkit is in town, or
I got an ad, a random Instagram ad that Fabio Frizzi, who is an Italian composer that composed the original Zombie, is on some North American tour right now where he's performing like a like revised and expanded version of that soundtrack with a full orchestra.
Jesus, you are.
He's
a
playing
tool.
at Proctor's. I don't know if you're familiar with that, but it's like this very
No.
famous like historical theater up here that's like all restored and like beautiful. And every other city he's playing is like an actual city. But apparently at some point years ago he toured here and played in this place and was like when he came back he was like I want to go there. So a rare upstate. We got him, John.
Capital Region on the
right.
upswing. the zombie guy.
See, here, look at John. I'm not the only one. Zach says, I saw them do Demons 2 last fall, and it was incredible.
Yeah. No, it sounds cool. I'm giving you a hard
So
time.
I have no
but
idea what to
obviously-
expect. And I haven't been to a concert in, definitely pre-pandemic. Probably, I don't know. I have no
mean,
idea when the last concert I went
I've
to.
known you for 17 years or whatever. Like, I don't know that I've ever heard
When
you
I
talk about
first
going
moved to
a concert.
Boston, so we're talking holy shit, when was that? Where the second time I moved to Boston was 2014. 2013, I went to a concert like the day I moved in. I saw Houndmouth, which is a really amazing like Americana band. Was not so much anymore. That was the last one I can remember going to. I don't think there's been one since then, John.
I just saw Foo Fighters like 6 weeks ago, so
Nice. Bonus,
good.
John. I can sit. There's seats because it's a
Nice.
theater.
So I'm very happy for you.
Yeah. You're going to have a good time. I saw him play along with The Beyond.
Okay,
Oh,
see,
nice.
John? Now, Matilda, did he
good.
play 2 the movie? I cannot figure out if that's what I'm going to see.
Yes.
Because this is also like a movie theater and a playhouse. So, like,
Yes, he played to the movie.
ooh,
that sounds amazing.
even
Yeah,
better.
that is
Yeah,
cool.
it was kind of like we saw something similar. We saw Goblin play to the original Suspiria at some
sick.
point.
That's
It was
amazing
great,
because
yeah.
that music comes in Goblin, like in Suspiria especially, comes in so fucking hard. Even on the original soundtrack, it is just blasting you in the face with music. So I can't imagine what it's like live. All right, John. I'll live stream it from my phone. Just
keep me
personally.
posted.
Yeah, I'll let you know. All right, Beetlejuice. I have literally basement level expectations for this film. So pretty much if it's in any way entertaining, I'll be happy.
Okay.
I'm just happy to see Winona again.
We know, Casey. You got Stranger Things. It's right there.
Oh, I know.
All right. We're back next week with some Beetlejuice. Thank you for joining us, and we'll talk to you soon.
See you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.